Today I thought of talking something on signed distance in signed graphs. We have heard of distances in graphs, geodesic in graphs and all. How do you define a distance in a signed graph? Because there are a signed graph. So we start with the definition of signed graph. A signed graph, usually denoted by sigma, is equal to the underlying graph G together with a signing function sigma, that is sigma equal to G sigma, where G equal to V comma E with a signature function sigma from edge set to 1 minus 1, which means we will be giving a sign to the edges either as 1 or minus 1. Usually another way of representing a signed graph is if it is a plus 1 weighted edge, we usually denote it by usual edge, otherwise dotted lines. Here in this example, this one is a positive edge and this dotted line represents a negative edge. Or in other words, here you can assume plus 1 and here you can assume minus 1. So a signed graph sigma, G sigma is said to be balanced. Balance theory is a first theory that comes into our mind when we think of a signed graph. In any signed network, how far it is balanced or whether the given network is balanced is a question in sociology, psychology, everywhere. Whenever you deal with a signed network, the question of balance comes first. So today we will discuss the term balance in terms of signed distance. If the product, if we say a signed graph sigma is balanced, if the product of its edges on the cycles, each cycles is positive. How do you compute the sign of the cycle? You just take the product of the signs on the edges. That is the product sigma of C equal to C is any cycle, pi E belongs to E of C, sigma of E equal to 1 for all cycles C in sigma. And we say this sigma is anti-balanced if you negate all the edges. That is what we denote by minus sigma. If minus sigma is balanced, we say sigma is anti-balanced. So equivalently, every even cycle is positive and every odd cycle is considered to be negative. So another operation always we come in signed graph is switching. It is an operation in which it will be used very often in our discussion. So let us have a look at what do we mean by switching in signed graph. Given a signed graph sigma equal to G sigma, we can construct another signed graph sigma eta, say where eta is a function from vertex set to 1 minus 1, and we compute the edge sign as sigma eta of uv as the product of the signs on u, v and the edge. This we say that from sigma we are getting the switched signed graph sigma sigma. Let us look at this. This figure is I have switched with respect to this one particular vertex. Either we can interpret switching function like this or just look at this vertex V. Here this edge is positive, this is negative, this is positive, this is negative. I take the negation of each edges. Switching with respect to V means this positive edge will become negative. This negative edge will become positive, which is incident with the vertex V. And this positive edge becomes negative, and I have represented here. And this negative edge will become positive. So we say the second signed graph is a switched signed graph of the first signed graph. This is the explanation of switching with respect to exactly one vertex. Now, if we want to switch with respect to a subset of a vertex set, what it would be? Suppose X is a subset of the vertex set. Switching means you negate all the edges from X to X complement. That is, all the edges, negation of all the edges in the cut set X complement. This is another way of looking at the switching of a graph. Why switching is important? Switching is important because almost all the operations in switching, it is switching invariant, we can say. For example, balance is switching invariant. If you have a balanced graph here, the switched graph also is balanced. So that is why switching is important. So whenever you define a new topic in signed graph, we will have to see whether it is switching equivalent to the other. When if so, we can say that we are moving towards the right. In this talk, we introduce two types of signed distance for signed graphs, and corresponding to distance matrices, we characterize balanced signed graphs using these matrices. Actually, why we went through this is, of course, it is easy for us to define distance if all the edges are positive. There's nothing wrong in that. So, with respect to that, we have distance matrix and all in the underlying graph. So, how we can look at this signed network and defines signed distance in that? Because the distance, the sign of a path is being defined as the product of the signs on the path, or sign of a cycle is being defined as the product of the signs on that cycle. So when we take the product on the path or cycle, if it all times negative edges are coming means we get a negative sign, and if even times means a positive. So naturally we face a problem where the path is positive or negative. So accordingly, may not be that much easy to define as what do we mean by distance. So what we did is we before what we did is we have defined two kinds of distances in signed graphs, signed distances in signed graphs. Before going to signed distance, let us have a look at the existing theorems in balance in signed graph. A signed graph sigma is balanced if and only if there is a bipartition of its vertex at V, which is V1 union V2, such that every positive edge induced by V1 or V2, while every negative edge has one endpoint in V1 and one endpoint in V2. That is, you can partition the vertex set into two parts such that all the edges within the partitioned set V1 are positive. Similarly, all the edges within the partitioned set V2 are also positive, and all the edges in between the set V1 and V2 are negative. Here is one example for that. My partition is, see, this left side, this triangle, and this is K2, and you see all the edges in the left side is positive, and this right set also is positive. In between, all are negative. So there exists a bipartition of this edges such a way that you can partition the vertex set into two sets such that all the edges in the separate sets are positive and interconnecting edges are all negative. This is what is called the famous Harare's bipartition theorem on signed graph. So if such a bipartition exists, Harare proved that that particular signed network is balanced. Next is Harare's path criterion. A signed graph is balanced if and only if any two vertices u and v, every uv path has the same sign. So as we know, there may be different paths connecting any pair of vertices u and v. You compute the sign of the path. Sign of the path, what we mean is take the product of the signs on the edges of that particular path. So that path is, if every path between u and v has same sign. It should be true for every pair of vertices u and v. Then we can say that that particular signed network or signed graph is balanced. And restatement of this Harare's path criterion is done by Acharya as, let sigma be a signed graph with underlying graph G, and let W be a positive weight function on the edges. And then sigma W is co-spectral with GW if and only if sigma is balanced. What do we mean by that? If the signed network is balanced, then you simply consider the underlying graph G, then spectrum should coincide, provided the network is balanced. This has given a very open a gateway to do this algebraic results in balance theory. So another spectral criterion for belongs to Acharya is a signed graph sigma G equal to G sigma is balanced if and only if the spectra of the adjacency matrix of sigma and its underlying graph G are one and the same. If somebody is interested, if these papers are all very famous papers, you can have a look at it for proofs and all. Another spectral criterion sigma G sigma is balanced if and only if the largest eigenvalues of the adjacency matrix of sigma and G coincides. This is a very recent result published in 2019, and it says that to look at whether the network is balanced or not, you look at the largest eigenvalue of the adjacency matrix of sigma and its underlying graph G. If they coincide, you can say that the signed network is balanced. Next is a corollary to that theorem. A signed graph with positive weighted edges, sigma W, which can be represented as there is some weight also on the edges. That is what we mean by positively weighted edges. Is balanced if and only if largest eigenvalue of the adjacency matrix of A sigma W and A G sigma W. This is not a very big deal. You can get it from the previous theorem. And as I told you, switching is a very important concept in signed graph. And switching criterion for this is, for with respect to balance, is a signed graph sigma G equal to G sigma is balanced if and only if it can be switched to an all positive signed graph. So what does it mean? Is this possible to find a subset of the vertex set such that with respect to that subset, you can switch the signed network sigma and you can see that it can be switched to an all positive signed graph. So now coming to these are some preliminaries regarding this balance in signed graphs. Now we will come back to our topic, that is as I told you, we are trying to define signed distance in signed graphs. So we will consider in this discussion only the underlying graphs are simple and connected, and given a signed graph sigma, G sigma is a sign of the path P. As I told you, sign of a path means take the product of the signs of the edges on that particular path. Sigma of P is defined as product sigma of E, where E you allowed to vary over the edges on the path P. We denote the shortest path between two given vertices U and V by PUV, and the collection of all shortest path between P and U by script PUV, where DUV denotes the usual distance between U and V. So first we define an auxiliary sign. We denote it as sigma max of UV. We take it the sign of sigma max of UV equal to -1 if all the UV paths are negative and +1 otherwise. And we mean by sigma min of UV is +1 if all the UV paths are positive and -1 otherwise. What do we mean by this? The maximum sigma max of UV, we mean if at least one is, if everything is negative, only we take -1. If all are positive means it is +1. Then we define signed distance. Using this sigma max of UV and sigma min of UV, we define signed distance as d max of uv as sigma max of uv, as we have already defined, times the distance from u to v. So that is nothing but maximum of sigma of PUV, where PUV is from the collection script PUV times DUV. Similarly, d min of UV equal to d min of UV times DUV. That is minimum of, take all the sigma of PUV, where PUV varies over script PUV times DUV. So you have two kinds of distances. That is very important to note. D max of UV and D min of UV. Using this, we define signed distance matrix. That is since there are two distance, D max and D min, you will have two matrices also, which we denote by capital D max of sigma. It will be definitely an n by n matrix. Similarly, d min of sigma with entries as the d min of uv. Now we have to define another term called compactability. When do you say two vertices u and v in a signed graph sigma are distance compactable? Two vertices u and v in a signed graph sigma are said to be distance compactable if d min of uv equal to d max of uv, and sigma is said to be distance compactable if every two pairs are compactable. So in a network, in a given signed network, you may be having compactable vertices, but as a whole sigma need not be compactable. There are different cases that we will consider now. If every pair of vertices, this relation d min of uv is equal to d max of uv, then we say that signed network itself is distance compactable. So let us look at this, how to construct this. I have considered a very small example, C4. As you can see that this is a negative cycle because it has only one negative edge. So if you take the product of the signs on the edges, you will get a negative sign. So this is an unbalanced C4. So what is the two signed distance matrix for this signed graph? D max. Let us see, this is U1, U2, U3, U4, U1, U2, U3, U4, both sides. So let us, U1 is definitely 0. Let us look at U1, U2. It's only one edge. So it is definitely 1. U1, U2, U1, U3, U1, U3, I can travel from here to here or here to here. One way I go from U1 to U2, U3 is positive, and other way I go to is negative. But since I am considering D max with respect to small letter D max, so I take it as 2. So 1 is positive. So at least 1 is positive means I take the positive sign. Similarly, U1, U4 is definitely positive. So you can compute all other like that. Let us come to D min. Here U1, U1 is 0. U1, U2 is again plus 1. U1, U3, you see, because it is D min and there is a negative path, we give the sign minus 2. Similarly, U1, U4 is positive. Hope it is clear. So this way you will get two signed distance in signed graphs and two signed distance matrices also in the signed graph. So the following are some immediate observations from this definition. If there is a unique shortest UV path PUV in G, then if the shortest path is unique, then sigma max of UV will be equal to sigma min of UV equal to sigma of PUV. So from this, what can you deduct easily? For an edge E equal to UV, sigma max of UV will always be equal to sigma min of UV is equal to the sign of the edge itself. For an underlying graph in which any two vertices are joined by a unique shortest path, which is called the geodetic graph, we have sigma max of UV equal to sigma min of UV equal to sigma P of UV. So consequently, what happens? Our matrix D max of sigma will be equal to D min of sigma. Let us have a look at, because it is a newly introduced concept, some examples are signed graphs with underlying graph is Kn or a tree. For this example, you can look at. So we construct two complete signed graphs from the distance matrix, Dmax and Dmin as follows. We need this construction to characterize balance in terms of this signed distance in signed graphs. We call it associated signed complete graph. And we denote it by K D max of sigma. This K D max of sigma, the associated complete graph is with respect to D max of sigma, is obtained by joining the non-adjacent vertices of sigma with the edges having the sign sigma of uv equal to sigma max of uv. Hope you understand. We compute sigma max of uv between u and v. We travel and we find out what is its sign. Suppose this sigma max of uv is +1. What I do is I make an adjacency between u and v with a positive edge. Suppose I get sigma max of uv equal to -1. What I do? I add a new edge uv with a negative sign. Similarly, the associated signed complete graph K d min of sigma with respect to d min of sigma is obtained by joining the non-adjacent vertices of sigma with the edges having the sign sigma of uv equal to sigma min of uv. So since you have sigma max, sigma min, you have small d max, small d min. So you have capital D max, capital D min. So you have K D max of sigma and K D min of sigma. This is how it goes. It is a chain process. Let us look at this example. You have let us see how do we construct the associated graph. So this, again, I am taking this C4 minus, which is unbalanced graph. K D max of C4 minus is, see here, let us see what is U1, U3. It is K D max. U1, U3, this path, we consider it as sigma max is positive. Therefore, I join U1, U3 with a positive edge. Similarly, U2, U4, that again is a positive. So that path is positive. Sigma max is positive, so I join with a positive edge. So this K D max, this is K D max of C4 minus. Similarly, K D min. What happened to U1, U3? In sigma min is -1 there. So I add an edge, a negative edge between U1 and U3. And similarly, U2, U4, the edge is, and again, sigma min is negative, so I add a negative edge there. So this is the associated signed complete graph of C4 minus. That is K D max of C4 minus and K D min of C4 minus. All connected signed graphs fall into three classes. With respect to this definition, we can think of all the signed graphs fall into three classes. First class that we can think of is sigma is balanced or anti-balanced or geodetic, which makes D max equal to D min. Then second class can be classified as sigma is unbalanced and neither anti-balanced nor geodetic, but still D max equal to D min. Third class that you can think is sigma is unbalanced and neither anti-balanced nor geodetic with D max not equal to D min. These are the three classes in terms of the signed distance in signed graphs that we can think of. In the first two classes, we denote the associated signed complete graph by K D plus or minus sigma or simply by K D plus or minus sigma. Why? In both the classes, D max is equal to D min. We need not differentiate K D max of sigma and K D minus of sigma and all. Therefore, first two classes associated graphs we can denote by D plus or minus sigma. Say a small example for this case 2 is a triangle with one negative edge. All the three cases can be explained if you look at this particular graph. That is, all examples for all the three cases, consider the signed graph K4 minus E with three different sign patterns are given in this figure. One may notice that this is not geodetic. So let's just construct in figure in signed graph 1. Figure 6 is balanced. Is it? You just see this figure 1. This is the cycle, or on all the cycles there are negative edges number 2. So this is a balanced one. This is balanced. And you can construct the matrix D max and D min as we did earlier. You can see that D max is equal to D min. And the matrix is D max equal to D min equal to 0, minus 1, 1, etc. So figure 1 gives you D max equal to D min case, and it is balanced also. In the graph 2, it is neither balanced nor anti-balanced. Let us have a look at the graph. See, there is a negative cycle, so that is not balanced. Now you take all the negation of this. This alone will be positive, and this is negative, this is negative, this is negative, this is negative. So again it is minus sigma is not balanced. So it is anti-balanced. But sigma max, if you compute, D max is equal to D min, equal to 0, minus 1, 1, 1, minus 1, 0, minus 1, 2, 1, minus 1, 0. So we can compute this. So this is an example of, first is an example of balanced and D max equal to D min. Second is neither balanced nor anti-balanced, but D max equal to D min. And the third class is of type 3, where D max is not equal to D min. Let us look at this. This is the graph. If you compute D max and D min, you can see that they are not same. D max will be this and D min will be this. Hope these are the three classes. With one example, you can explain all the three classes. Another figure shows that, another figure is given here, which is a symbol, two connected compactable signed graph that is neither geodetic nor balanced nor anti-balanced. Okay, so this is a non-trivial distance compactable signed graph of order 5. So let us look at, naturally, when we define a new concept, always we look for the characterization of balance. For a signed graph sigma, the following statements are equivalent. We have proved this, that is sigma is balanced. The associated signed complete graph K D max of sigma is balanced. And if you get this result, this is same as associated signed complete graph K D min of sigma is balanced. And again, this is equivalent to D max of sigma equal to D min of sigma, and the associated signed complete graph K D plus or minus of sigma is also balanced. This is a beautiful theorem. The proof is very interesting actually. If somebody is interested, you can definitely have a look at this paper. It's very recently published paper, 2021. It is available in the site also, linear algebra and applications. You can just have a look. So next we look at, can we connect this with the Acharya's spectral criterion and Stang's criterion in corollary 8. We have already mentioned this. And what we find is this characterization can be reformulated. And we proved this theorem. A signed graph sigma is balanced if and only if the associated signed complete graph K plus or minus of sigma has largest eigenvalue n minus 1, or equivalently its spectrum is n minus 1 and minus 1 repeating n minus 1 times. This is actually a very beautiful theorem, and we got this theorem from this Acharya's spectral criterion and Stanic criterion, which is mentioned in corollary 8. Another important lemma is switching a signed graph sigma does not change the set of compatible pairs of vertices. So we have seen that if the sets are compatible, the vertices are compatible, then it is switching invariant. Using this theorem, we have proved that if sigma is switched to sigma eta, and if d max of sigma equal to d min of sigma equal to d plus or minus of sigma, then d max of sigma eta, that is the switched one, is equal to d min of sigma eta equal to d plus or minus of d. That is, it is invariant under switching. And d plus or minus sigma is similar to d plus or minus sigma eta. This also is, we consider this theorem also as a very important and interesting theorem. Another interesting theorem in this paper is the following properties of signed graph sigma are equivalent. As I told you, balance is a very important topic that we want to discuss. If sigma is balanced, so you have seen whether it is cospectral with the underlying graph. Yes. If sigma is balanced in the original also, if sigma is balanced, it is cospectral with the underlying graph. Similarly, if sigma is balanced, d max of sigma is cospectral with d of g, where g is the underlying graph. Similarly, d min of sigma is cospectral with d of g. D max of sigma has largest eigenvalue equal to that of d of g. You remember Stanic theorem. It's the same theorem holds here also. D min of sigma has largest eigenvalue equal to that of d g, where g is the underlying graph. Moreover, in particular, sigma is balanced if and only if d plus of sigma exists and is cospectral with d of g. This is considered to be the center of this paper. So we illustrate these theorems with some examples of, say, complete bipartite graph KNN. We have seen that the signed graph sigma equal to KNN sigma is balanced if and only if d max or d min has largest eigenvalue 3n minus 2, and if and only if its spectrum is 3n minus 2, n minus 2, n minus 2. So 3n minus 2 and n minus 2 occurs only once, and minus 2 repeats 2n minus 2 times. For the odd unbalanced cycle Cn minus 1, the result is interesting. That is, when n equal to 2k plus 1 form, we have unique shortest path between any two vertices. Therefore, d max of Cn minus will be equal to d min of Cn minus, which will be equal to d plus or minus of Cn minus. And we give the spectrum of an odd unbalanced cycle as k times minus 1 the whole power k minus 1 minus minus 1 raised to k by 2. Sorry, 1 minute. I'm sorry to disturb. 1 minute. Sorry, Dr. Rajesh.
It's okay, ma'am. Yeah, please continue.
The spectrum of d plus or minus 1 is k into minus 1 to the power of k minus 1 minus minus 1 to the power of k divided by 2. It occurs only once. and k into minus 1 raised to j divided by sine of 2j plus 1 times pi over 2n minus sine square 2j plus 1 times kp by n divided by sine square of 2j plus 1 times pi over 2n for j equal to 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. k minus 1. This is a spectrum of the unbalanced cycle Cn minus 1. The spectrum with respect to, if you compute d plus or minus of the unbalanced Cn minus 1, Cn minus where n is equal to 2k plus 1. Now we consider an unbalanced signed wheel Wn plus 1 sigma, which is equal to Cn union k1 sigma, where n is odd and the signature sigma is such that sigma of E equal to minus 1 if E belongs to E of Cn and 1 otherwise. Clearly, this signed graph is compactable. In fact, it is anti-balanced. So it was interesting for us to find out what will be the spectrum of this. So the spectrum of Wn plus 1 sigma is computed as spectrum of d plus or minus plus minus of Wn plus 1 sigma is n minus 1 plus or minus square root of n square minus 7n plus 16. It repeats one time, and this is n minus 1 times minus 2 minus 6 cos 2 j pi by n, where j equal to 1, 2, 3, etc. Each repeat once. We know that three kinds of compatible signed graph. One is balanced, anti-balanced, and geodetic. That is how we have classified. And there are others that we do not know. We know only these three classifications. For bipartite graphs, we have a better information. That is this theorem. A bipartite signed graph is distance compactable if and only if it is balanced. The corollary, let sigma be a bipartite signed graph, then sigma is balanced if and only if d max of sigma equal to d min of sigma. That is what we have seen for bipartite graphs. The result is very simple and beautiful. Next theorem is a signed graph is compactable if and only if every block of it is compactable. The characterization problem for all compactable signed graph is reduced by these theorems to the case of two connected non-bipartite graph that is not a cycle. But this problem for us at least appears to be a hard problem. We know there exist examples that are not any of these three kinds stated at the beginning of this section. So we conclude with an example because we find it difficult to find the other classes which are not included in this class. So we got one example. So which means there are other graphs also which are not in this particular three classes. So actually we have a construction for that. So let P and Q be graphs of orders P and Q respectively that are two connected, incomplete and not bipartite. Consider P as an all positive signed graph and Q as an all negative signed graph. Now let KPQ be the complete bipartite graph considered as an all positive signed graph with the partition sets A and B of orders P and Q respectively. Now what we do is we identify the vertex set of P with A and V of Q with B. This gives a signed graph sigma. And we prove that this sigma is not balanced, not anti-balanced, but not geodetic, but it is distance compactable. So there is another classes also, another signed graphs which do not come under these three classes. Because P contains a positive odd cycle and Q contains a negative odd cycle, sigma is neither balanced nor anti-balanced. The diameter of sigma is 2. Since P and Q are two connected, and hence any two non-adjacent vertices in Q or in P or in Q are joined by multiple shortest paths of length 2, all of which are positive. So a 2 path in KPQ or P is positive. A 2 path in Q is positive because Q is all negative. It follows that sigma is compactable, but it is not geodetic. So we can see that there are many graphs suitable to be P and Q, such as the complemented line graphs of complete graphs for n greater than line graph of K and bar, complemented line graphs of complete graphs for n greater than or equal to 5. And you can notice that for n equal to 5, it is nothing but a Peterson graph. Since I have a meeting at 5 o'clock, important meeting, I thought I give this short. And this is the only one paper which is published on this concept, namely signed distance in signed graphs. And other papers which we have submitted are on signed distance in product of signed graphs, on the powers of signed graphs, and another is signed distance Laplacian matrices for signed graphs. These are the other 3 papers, and 2 more papers are under preparation, which I have not noticed. You are welcome if you have any questions, clarifications.
Thank you, Professor Jermina, for the interesting talk.
Yeah.
Audience, if you have any doubt, we can ask now.
I would like to know whether it was useful to you. Yeah. Balakrishna sir, please.
So nice talk.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
I just want to ask you one question.
Okay, sir.
Do these concepts, carry over to product graphs? How do you do it?
Yeah, we have already did it. Actually, product graphs, we have to consider these distances separately, sir. For all the product, as we do in signed graphs, we will be having 2 distance concept.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with respect to both the Dmax and Dmin, you will have to consider separately the products also.
No,
And so you will get separate matrices also for that. But they are entirely different. That is what our paper on signed distance product signed graphs. Computation, but however, the spectrum of the original 2 graphs and product graphs are related. Related in the sense, if you know the spectrum of both the graphs, we can compute the spectrum of the both the products with respect to Dmax and Dmin. There is some association between them. I think we have considered Cartesian product. 3 kinds. Some also we have considered. 3 kinds we have considered. Lexicographic products also we have considered. There are relationship between.
Mm-hmm.
Sir.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Okay, ma'am, I have one question.
Yes, sir, please.
Like in the usual distance matrix case, in case of trees, the determinant is the invariant quantity. You take just T on n vertices, you will have the same determinant. So
yes, sir,
can you say something?
Sir, yeah. For trees, actually, signed graph and unsigned graphs are one and the same. They do not differ actually.
Okay.
If there are no cycles, it do not make any difference, no? So for trees, actually, what are those results that are true in the underlying graph is true for signed trees also.
Signed trees. Okay.
Yeah, there's no difference actually. I would like to tell that we are trying to organize a international conference on signed graphs. Those who are interested, I think the registration time is already over. But still, if you want, you can send the abstract or your request to the. We'll have a small selection committee meeting we'll be selecting too many. Those who are really interested only, we would like to admit also. Though for there was some, if Dr. Rajesh can ask if someone is interested, they can even now register this week itself,
Okay,
tomorrow
sure, sure.
also. Yeah. I don't know how far it is being circulated. We were too busy with admission, this, that, and all. I did not look into that for some time.
Okay.
That's what happened. Yeah. Good lectures are, teachers are coming. All the speakers are from Saint Graphs itself. Many of them are foreigners. So students who are interested may get good problems out of that.
Yeah, sure. If it is all right, I can circulate in the group mail. Like
Yeah,
the
please
conference.
do that, sir.
Yes.
You can do that. Yeah.
I will do that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Any other questions? Okay. If not, let us thank Professor Germina again for the
Yeah.
interesting talk. Yeah.
Yes,
So,
sir.
ma'am, I have recorded your talk. I will put it in YouTube by tonight.
Okay, sir. Okay,
Please
sir.
send the slides. I will circulate to the participants.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you so much.
Slides I should send to you, sir.
You can send it to me, ma'am. Yeah.
Oh, okay, sir. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much.